The alien woman was screaming in agony, but she suddenly fell silent when a human man touched her. The scream reached the far end of the medical wing before anyone saw where it came from. It was not loud in a normal way. It was sharp, broken, and full of panic, as if pain itself had learned how to speak. Doctors, technicians, and guards all stopped what they were doing as the sound echoed through the metal halls of the station. The deep space station, Orison 9, floated in silence near a dead star, far from any major trade route. It was meant to be quiet, a place for research and emergency aid. Screams like this were not supposed to exist here. Medical officer Lena Corrin rushed toward the docking bay, her boots striking the floor in quick steps. "Report," she said into her comm. "Unknown vessel," came the reply. "Single life sign, alien female, severe distress. We couldn't get a language match yet." Another scream cut through the air, closer now. Some of the younger staff froze, their faces pale. They had treated injured beings from many species, but this was different. There was something in that sound that made the skin crawl, as if it carried fear directly into the mind. The docking bay doors slid open, revealing a small, damaged ship clamped to the station. The hull was scorched, its design unlike anything in the station's database. Inside, on a medical hover platform, lay the source of the screams. She was tall and slender, with pale blue skin that shimmered faintly under the lights. Thin lines of glowing patterns ran along her arms and neck, flickering wildly with each cry of pain. Her eyes were wide, unfocused, and filled with terror. She clawed weakly at the air, as if trying to escape something no one else could see. "Get her to the medical bay now," Lena ordered. The platform moved quickly through the halls. The alien woman screamed without pause, her body shaking violently. Medical scanners struggled to read her biology. Her vital signs were off the scale, but somehow she was still alive. Inside the medical bay, the doors sealed shut. Doctors surrounded the platform, activating tools and holographic displays. A translator drone hovered nearby, trying and failing to find a match for her language. "Pain response is extreme," one doctor said. "Her nervous system it's overactive. It's like every nerve is firing at once." "Sedatives?" Lena asked. "We've tried 3 types, no effect." Another scream burst from the alien's throat, louder than before. The lights flickered for a moment, reacting to a sudden energy spike. "That's not normal," someone whispered. They increased the station's power buffers, worried her condition might damage nearby systems. The alien woman's glowing patterns flared brighter, then dimmed, then flared again. Her hands clenched into fists, nails digging into her own skin. "She should be unconscious," a doctor said quietly. "No being could endure this level of pain." Yet she did, and she screamed. Hours passed like this. Every treatment failed. Cooling fields, neural dampeners, advanced alien medicine stored for rare emergencies. Nothing helped. If anything, the pain seemed to grow stronger, feeding on the attempts to stop it. Outside the medical bay, station personnel waited in tense silence. Some had covered their ears earlier. Others stared at the floor, shaken. The screams carried even through the sealed walls, faint but still disturbing. Ethan Hale had been working on an external maintenance panel when the emergency alert sounded. He was a human engineer, not a doctor, and normally would not be allowed near a medical crisis like this. But Orison 9 was short-staffed, and everyone nearby had been ordered inside. He stood near the entrance to the medical wing, wiping grease from his hands, listening to the muffled screams. His stomach twisted. "That's bad," he muttered. A guard nearby nodded. "Worst I've ever heard." Ethan leaned against the wall, unsure why he hadn't left yet. Something about the sound pulled at him. It wasn't just noise. It felt heavy, like it pressed against his chest. Another scream rang out, sharper than the rest. Ethan winced. Inside the medical bay, Lena was running out of options. "If this continues," she said, "her body will collapse. We're missing something." At that moment the door sensors chimed. Medical bay access request, the system announced. Lena turned sharply. Who is it? Ethan Hale, maintenance. I didn't authorize. Another scream cut her off. It was so sudden and intense that several monitors spiked at once. Let him in, one of the doctors said without thinking. We need all hands, even if it's just to move equipment. The doors slid open, and Ethan stepped inside. The moment he crossed the threshold, the alien woman's scream changed. It rose in pitch, almost like a warning cry. Her eyes snapped toward him, locking onto his face. Ethan froze. I can leave, he said quickly. No, Lena said, watching the monitors. Wait. The alien woman strained against the restraints holding her on the platform. Her glowing patterns flared wildly, reacting to something unseen. She gasped, her breath coming in short, panicked bursts. She's reacting to him, a doctor said. Ethan felt a strange pressure in the air, like standing too close to a strong electrical field. His skin tingled. I don't know what I'm doing here, he said quietly. Another scream tore from the alien woman, and she reached out with shaking hands. The restraint stopped her arms just short of Ethan, but her fingers stretched toward him desperately. Keep your distance, a guard warned, but Ethan hesitated. He saw something in her eyes beyond pain, fear, desperation. The kind that begged for help, not understanding, not words, just relief. Before anyone could stop him, Ethan stepped closer. The medical staff shouted, but it was too late. The alien woman's fingers brushed against his sleeve, then his skin. The effect was instant. The scream cut off as if a switch had been flipped. The medical bay fell into sudden, shocking silence. Monitors stabilized. Energy spikes vanished. The glowing patterns on the alien woman's skin dimmed to a soft, steady light. Her body went still, her breathing slow and even. Ethan stared at her, heart pounding. He hadn't done anything special. He had just been there. Everyone else stood frozen. She stopped, someone whispered. Lena stepped closer, eyes locked on the readings. Vitals are normalizing. The alien woman's eyes slowly closed. For the first time since arriving at Orison 9, she looked peaceful. Ethan felt warmth spread through his hand, gentle and calm. He didn't pull away. No one spoke. No one dared to move. In that quiet moment, deep in space near a dead star, humanity unknowingly took its first step toward a truth the galaxy had never imagined. The silence did not last long, but it felt endless to everyone in the medical bay. After hours of screaming, the sudden calm felt unreal, as if the station itself was holding its breath. No one moved. Even the machines seemed quieter. Lena was the first to react. Ethan, she said slowly, don't move. I wasn't planning to, Ethan replied. His voice was low and tense. He could feel the alien woman's hand resting against his. It was warm, warmer than he expected, and the strange tingling in his arm had settled into something calm and steady. The alien woman's chest rose and fell in slow, even breaths. The glowing lines on her skin stayed dim and stable. The monitors confirmed what everyone could see with their own eyes. Her vital signs were no longer wild. They were almost normal. This makes no sense, one doctor whispered. Nothing works on her. Nothing. Pull him away, a guard said nervously. We need to test if this is really. Before Lena could answer, the alien woman stirred. Her fingers tightened slightly around Ethan's hand. A soft sound escaped her throat, not a scream, but a weak, broken breath. Ethan swallowed. She's waking up. Lena raised a hand, signaling everyone to stay calm. Easy, she said, not sure if the alien could understand. You're safe. The alien woman's eyes opened slowly. They were clearer now, no longer wild with pain. They focused on Ethan's face, and for a brief moment confusion passed over her features. Then something else appeared, relief. She spoke, her voice rough and unfamiliar. The translator drone flickered, working fast. Quiet, the drone finally said. It is quiet. A murmur spread through the room. Yes, Lena said gently. You're not in pain right now. The alien woman looked around the room, then back at Ethan. Her grip tightened again, not in fear but in need. "Do not leave," she said through the translator. Ethan looked at Lena. "I think she wants me to stay." Lena nodded slowly. "For now, but we need answers." She signaled the guard. "Carefully, separate them slowly." The guard stepped forward, reaching for Ethan's arm. The moment the contact broke, the change was immediate. The alien woman gasped. Her body stiffened. The glowing lines flared bright again and a sharp cry escaped her lips. "Stop!" Ethan shouted without thinking. He grabbed her hand again. The pain vanished instantly. Her body relaxed, the glow dimmed, and the cry died in her throat. The room erupted into noise. "Confirmed," a doctor said, staring at the data. "It's direct contact, human contact." Lena felt her pulse race. "Back away," she ordered everyone else. "No sudden movements." She turned to Ethan. "How do you feel?" Ethan flexed his fingers. "Fine. Tired maybe, but otherwise normal." "That warmth you mentioned," she asked. "It's still there," he said, "like holding something steady that wants to shake apart." The doctors exchanged uneasy looks. They ran tests while Ethan stayed by the platform, holding the alien woman's hand. Scanners focused on both of them now. The results were confusing and unsettling. Human neural activity showed subtle changes, barely noticeable under normal conditions. But near the alien woman, Ethan's nervous system had shifted, forming a stable, repeating pattern. It wasn't forced. It wasn't controlled. It was automatic. The alien woman's neural signals, once chaotic and violent, were now syncing to that pattern. "She's stabilizing off him," a doctor said, like he's grounding her. Lena leaned back against a console, trying to process it. "Humans aren't psychic." "No," the doctor agreed. "But they are adaptable. Their nervous systems evolved under constant stress. Radiation, gravity shifts, emotional pressure. Humans learned how to stay functional in chaos." "So you're saying," Lena said slowly, "that what's killing her people is normal space?" The doctor hesitated. "For her species, yes." The alien woman spoke again, her voice stronger now. "The screaming, it never stops," the translator said. "Out there, between the stars, it grows louder the farther we travel." Lena approached the platform, keeping a safe distance. "Why were you alone?" The alien woman closed her eyes. "Because no one else could endure the journey. I was trained for pain, but even I failed." Her fingers tightened on Ethan's hand. "Until him." Ethan felt a lump in his throat. He had fixed broken hull plates, repaired engines, survived vacuum drills. He had never expected this. Word spread quickly through Orison 9. A human had stopped an alien's agony with a touch. Command demanded reports. Science divisions requested data access. Security protocols were raised across the station. Ethan was escorted, still holding the alien woman's hand, into a controlled medical suite. He was no longer just a maintenance engineer. He was a variable no one had planned for. They tried others. Another human doctor approached and carefully placed a hand on the alien woman's arm while Ethan stepped back. The pain eased, but not fully. Her breathing was strained. Ethan returned, complete calm. "It's stronger with him," a doctor noted. "Why?" Lena asked. They ran more scans, genetic markers, stress response histories. Ethan had grown up on a heavy gravity colony world, exposed to higher radiation levels than most. His nervous system showed long-term adaptations. "He's unusually stable," the doctor said. "Not unique, but pronounced." Ethan laughed weakly. "So I'm useful because my life was hard." "In a way," Lena said softly, "yes." The alien woman watched them closely. "Your species carries quiet inside," she said. "We never knew." The galactic relay picked up the emergency report and broadcast it to nearby systems. Reactions were immediate and mixed. Some species expressed awe, others expressed fear. If humans could do this by accident, what else could they do on purpose? Security officers increased their presence. There were quiet discussions about containment, about ethics, about risk. Ethan overheard some of it while sitting beside the platform. "They're scared," he said quietly to the alien woman. She nodded. "So were we. When we first touched the stars," she hesitated, then asked, "Will they take you away?" Ethan didn't know how to answer. Lena joined them, her expression serious. "Ethan, Command wants you transferred to a secure research facility." Ethan looked at the alien woman. Her breathing was calm only because of him. "And her?" he asked. "She'll come too," Lena said, "if you agree." He took a deep breath. "I'm not leaving her." The alien woman's eyes softened. She placed her other hand over his. "You already saved me," she said. "But now you may save many." Outside the viewport, the dead star burned silently, its light cold and distant. Inside the station, humanity crossed another unseen line, not with weapons, not with words, but with a simple, steady presence that turned unbearable pain into silence. The transfer to the research facility happened quietly, but the meaning of it was anything but small. The station Orison 9 faded behind them as the transport ship slipped into faster-than-light travel. Inside the medical cabin, Ethan sat beside the alien woman, his hand still resting against hers. The restraints were gone now. They were no longer needed. Her name, translated carefully through the drone, was Celari. She sat upright for the first time since her rescue, her posture calm but alert. The glowing lines on her skin remained soft and steady as long as Ethan was near. Every time he shifted away even a little, the glow trembled, not enough to cause pain, but enough to warn everyone watching. The doctors noticed everything. "She is dependent on proximity," one of them said, reviewing the data, "but not emotionally, biologically." Celari heard the words and did not seem offended. "I am alive," she said simply. "Dependency is a small price." Ethan did not like the sound of that. "You shouldn't have to rely on one person just to exist," he said. Celari looked at him with calm, thoughtful eyes. "Your species relies on gravity, air, and heat. We rely on stability. Until now, we did not know where to find it. The research facility was built inside a hollowed asteroid, hidden far from major systems. It was designed for dangerous unknowns, and now Ethan was classified as one of them. Not because he was violent, but because he was new to the galaxy in a way no one had predicted. Inside the facility, teams of scientists from several species waited. Humans were the majority, but not the only ones. Fear and curiosity mixed in equal measure. They ran controlled tests. Ethan sat inside a glass-walled chamber while Celari remained on the other side. The moment the distance between them increased beyond a few meters, her breathing changed. The glow on her skin brightened sharply. "Stop," Lena said from the observation deck. "Bring him closer." As Ethan stepped forward, the change reversed. Celari relaxed. "This confirms it," a scientist said. "Human presence acts as a stabilizing field for her nervous system." "Not presence," Lena corrected. "Connection. It's stronger with touch, weaker with distance." They tested other humans again, this time more carefully. Some reduced Celari's discomfort slightly. Others had almost no effect. But a pattern began to emerge. Humans with high exposure to stress, radiation, emotional trauma, or unstable environments showed stronger results. Colonists, rescue workers, deep space crews. People who had lived their lives under pressure. Ethan was not unique. He was simply one of the strongest examples. "This isn't a mutation," Lena said during a briefing. "It's a survival trait. Humans evolved in chaos. Their nervous systems learned to regulate themselves without external support." An alien scientist spoke next, her voice cautious. "You are saying humans are naturally resistant to neural instability?" "Yes," Lena replied, "and more than that. They can share that stability with others." The room fell silent. That was when the fear truly began. Reports spread through the galactic network. Species that relied on advanced technology to manage stress and neural overload suddenly saw humans doing the same thing by accident, with nothing but their bodies. Some governments sent messages of interest. Others sent warnings. One coalition demanded restrictions on human movement. Another proposed mandatory licensing for human crews aboard alien vessels. A few extremist groups called humans dangerous anomalies. Ethan heard fragments of these discussions through walls and whispers. "They're talking about us like tools," he said quietly to Lena one evening. Lena sighed. "They're talking about you like hope and threat at the same time. That usually doesn't end cleanly." Sailari listened, her hands folded calmly in her lap. "They fear what they do not understand," she said. "My people once feared fire." "What happened?" Ethan asked. "We learned to carry it," she replied. "The next test changed everything." A second alien from Sailari's species was brought in, rescued from a failing ship near a deep space corridor. She was in worse condition than Sailari had been. Her pain was constant, her body already failing. They tried machines first. Nothing worked. Then Ethan entered the chamber. He did not even touch her at first. He simply stood nearby. The screaming softened. When he placed his hand against her arm, the pain stopped completely. Sailari watched from the observation room, her eyes wide. "She is not trained like I was," she said. "She should not survive this." "But she is," Lena replied. The implications were immediate and enormous. It was not just Sailari, it was her entire species, and possibly others. As more data came in, the picture grew clearer. Certain species experienced neural overload simply by existing in deep space. They relied on technology to mask the pain, not cure it. Humans did not mask it. They balanced it. Human crews began volunteering, despite warnings and legal uncertainty. Some had lost friends to space madness, unexplained breakdowns, or long-term missions that changed people in quiet, terrible ways. Now they understood why. Humans had always felt the weight of space. They had just learned how to carry it. Ethan met with a galactic envoy via hologram, a tall figure wrapped in shimmering fabric. "You must understand," the envoy said carefully, "this ability makes your species influential." Ethan frowned. "We didn't ask for it." "No species ever does," the envoy replied. "That does not change reality." "Then change how you look at us," Ethan said. "We're not weapons. We're not medicine you can lock away. We're people." The envoy studied him. "That may be the most dangerous part." Tension rose across the network. Some stations refused human docking. Others requested entire crews. A small incident nearly sparked disaster when a human ship was denied emergency access to an alien port, resulting in casualties that might have been prevented. Anger flared. Lena addressed the human delegation directly. "If we let fear control this," she said, "then we become exactly what they're afraid of." Sailari stepped forward, surprising everyone. "My people will speak," she said. She transmitted a message across the galactic channels, her voice steady and clear. "We believed pain was our destiny," she said. "We believed the universe rejected us. We were wrong. The universe created humans." The message spread rapidly, not as propaganda, as testimony. Stories followed. Alien crews sleeping peacefully for the first time. Long-haul pilots no longer hearing the screaming inside their minds. Colonies surviving where none should. And humans quietly, steadily, helping without asking for power. Ethan watched the stars from the observation window, exhaustion heavy in his bones. "I don't feel special," he admitted to Sailari. "I just feel tired." She smiled gently. "That is because you are carrying pain that was never yours." "Will it always be like this?" he asked. "For a time," she said, "until we learn from you, until we change." Below them, the research facility buzzed with movement. Plans were being written, routes redrawn, laws rewritten. Humanity had not conquered the galaxy, it had steadied it. And the universe, loud and cruel as it was, had finally learned how to be quiet. The galaxy was watching, whether it wanted to or not. Word of the humans' unexpected ability spread quickly, first through whispers in research channels, then in urgent transmissions between star systems. Every species, every station, Every fleet could feel the change in the air, even if they did not fully understand it. Humans were no longer just another intelligent species. They were something different, something that could influence life itself without technology, without weapons, just by existing. Ethan stood aboard the main observation deck of the asteroid research facility, looking out at the stars. Sailari was beside him, quiet now, her glow calm. The room around them buzzed with activity. Humans, aliens, and hybrid teams working together, carefully coordinating relief efforts for the species whose nervous systems could not survive deep space travel. Every mission that had failed before now had a chance to succeed, guided by human crews acting as living stabilizers. The first large-scale operation was planned in the outer spiral near the collapsed colonies of Sailari's people. Hundreds of humans volunteered, traveling aboard medical and transport ships alongside alien scientists. They were trained, but the most important factor could not be taught. It was the natural balance of their biology, a gift no one fully understood yet. Ethan's ship departed quietly, carrying Sailari and a small team of human stabilizers. The colonies they were headed to had been isolated for years, left to endure their painful environments with only machines to shield them. Some had survived, many had not. The humans were bringing more than medicine. They were bringing calm, relief, and hope. As they approached the first colony, the distress signals were overwhelming. The entire planet emitted a low, constant vibration of suffering. Ships' instruments struggled to even keep track of the life signs. It was chaos, a living storm of pain. Ethan felt it in his chest as soon as they entered orbit. This was not a simple mission. This was the edge of what humanity could endure. Sailari reached out and placed a hand on his arm. "It will work," she said. "Trust your people, trust yourself." The humans suited up and moved carefully into the colony's main habitats. The residents were alien, their bodies fragile, their nervous systems fraying under the pressure of their environment. As soon as a human touched them, the change was immediate. Cries of agony fell silent, breathing steadied, and the glow of the afflicted beings became soft and steady. For the first time in generations, these colonies experienced peace. Word of this miracle reached other colonies even before the ships could depart. Communities began preparing for human aid, some cautiously, some with awe. Many species had thought humans fragile or unremarkable. Now, they were revered as the quiet ones, the species whose very presence brought relief and hope. Sailari's people formally named them this, and the name spread like wildfire across communication networks. The galactic councils were forced to respond. Species that had demanded containment or restrictions now sought alliance. Scientists and leaders gathered to discuss regulations and coordination, realizing that humans were no threat if handled correctly. But the humans themselves were wary. No one wanted to be used as a tool or weapon. They understood the delicate balance of this new position. They were powerful, but their greatest strength was not aggression. It was calm, presence, and empathy. Ethan worked alongside Sailari, traveling to multiple colonies. Each time he touched the alien residents, the screaming ceased, the system stabilized, and lives were saved. He saw hope return to faces that had long been frozen in terror. Children who had never experienced comfort now slept peacefully. Elders who had given up found themselves able to speak and move without pain. Entire communities began to rebuild, guided not only by humans, but by the cooperation of their own people, inspired by the calm the humans brought. The humans' role expanded. They were not just healers, they became teachers. Alien medical personnel studied their biology and learned how to emulate human stabilizing patterns through careful interaction, but nothing could replace the presence of a human. Their work inspired new research into cooperation and shared resilience. Humans, it turned out, had not just survived the chaos of their own evolution. They had mastered it in a way the galaxy had never imagined. Ethan noticed that each mission carried a subtle but important change in the humans themselves. They had always been resilient, but now they carried a sense of responsibility unlike any before. They were guardians, not conquerors. Their work required patience, focus, and empathy on a scale larger than anyone had asked of a species before. And yet, they did it willingly. They were shaping the galaxy not with power, but with stability, balance, and presence. Some species remained skeptical or fearful, but even they could not deny the results. Ships and colonies that had once been thought doomed were thriving. The quiet humans became symbols of hope and cooperation, and slowly, grudging respect became admiration. The galaxy began to understand that humanity's greatest strength was not weapons, technology, or numbers, but the ability to endure, to adapt, and to bring calm where none existed. As months passed, humans expanded their operations into deep space exploration and colony stabilization. Their touch was not the only tool. They trained alien teams, helped build stabilizing environments, and coordinated large-scale relief missions. But they remained the living core, the essential element without which the work could not succeed. In every mission, Ethan saw the same quiet miracle. Wherever humans went, suffering eased, systems balanced, and hope returned. Scifi often traveled with him, observing the humans in action. "Your species carries something we never knew existed," she said one evening as they watched a sunset across a quiet alien world. The sky shimmered in colors unfamiliar to human eyes. "It is not just survival. It is peace, even in the midst of chaos." Ethan smiled softly. "We survived by learning to carry our own pain. I guess now we're carrying others too." "Not just carrying," Scifi corrected. "You are teaching the galaxy to carry its own. Your presence shows what is possible." In time, humans were invited to serve as advisors to galactic councils, guiding policy on deep space travel, colonization, and disaster relief. Their perspective was invaluable. They had not conquered the galaxy, they had steadied it. Where technology failed and systems broke down, humans succeeded simply by existing in balance. The final mission in this early phase took Ethan and Scifi to a remote cluster of dying colonies. The ships that arrived were almost completely uninhabitable, their residence near collapse. Yet, as the humans moved through the habitats, touching, guiding, and supporting, the transformation was immediate. Pain ceased, breathing slowed, systems that had been failing stabilized. Families reunited. Children laughed for the first time in years. When the last human team prepared to depart, the colonies gathered at the landing pads. They knelt, a gesture of respect and gratitude, though not all species had the same cultural meaning. Scifi stepped forward, placing a hand over her heart and then bowing slightly. "We honor them," she said. "These humans walked through our suffering and made it stop. They have saved more than lives, they have saved hope." Ethan watched the people before him. He felt no pride. Only exhaustion, relief, and quiet satisfaction. They had done what seemed impossible. They had changed the universe not with force or strategy, but with the simple, undeniable power of being human. From that day forward, humans were known as stabilizers, guides, and healers across the galaxy. Colonies that had once been considered lost were thriving. Civilizations that had once trembled under deep space stress were rebuilding. And every human who volunteered carried not only their own survival, but the lives and hopes of countless others. Ethan and Scifi returned to the asteroid facility, watching as ships moved out into the stars, carrying humans to new missions. The station was quiet now, not because of fear but because of balance. Life had returned to rhythm. Ethan looked at Scifi. "We didn't conquer anything," he said softly. "No," she replied, her glow steady. "But we have conquered suffering. That is enough." The stars beyond the viewport twinkled in silence. The galaxy was vast, unpredictable, and sometimes cruel. But wherever humans went, there was calm. Where humans went, hope followed. Humanity had not taken control through might. It had earned it through resilience, presence, and the quiet courage to stand where others could not. And the universe at last knew how to be still.